What is going on, everybody? It is episode 749 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. That was very you usually you say it's Mary, and then you kind of mention something in general, and you just went straight to me, and you're like, "How you doing?" I was caught off guard.
Checking in with you.
I did that yesterday. I was like, after the show, I was like,
it was a wellness check.
I did a wellness check. I was like, so how you doing?
Well, are you okay?
I'm doing all right. We're getting by. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. But before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video? If you're doing all right like me, you should hit the like button on this video. And subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Please and thank you. The best way that you can help this channel grow is to both subscribe and then share the videos out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people you like, people you don't like even, a mortal enemy perhaps. If you have them, you should share the videos with them. It is the best way to help us grow. So thank you guys so much for that. So what are we getting into? Well, the big story, and we were gonna talk about this yesterday, and it seems like everybody's gotten into this one. Well, Pixar, Disney, they have removed an entire storyline based around transgenderism from one of their upcoming Pixar TV shows, and a lot of people are signaling this as a very big victory in what they still deem the culture war. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about this, another fruit of the labor of actors on actors, talking about intimacy coordinators and how they might just be going the way of the dinosaur over there in Hollywood. Shocking.
It's not fashionable anymore to have an HR representative coordinate and choreograph your sex scenes in Hollywood. So
funny how that works.
People are putting that behind them.
So we're doing that. Also, Mary found this great video of this lady proving that Gen Z is absolutely petrified of going out for drinks with their coworkers after work.
Can't relate, by the way.
Me and Mary disagree on this one.
You hate the idea?
I don't hate the. I'm just. I'm less into the idea as you. So
you definitely have hung out with coworkers without drinking.
This is the first job I've ever had where I've actually hung out with my coworkers outside of work. Every other job I've ever had, that is just no. Just no. So
understandable.
We got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. But before we get started.
Yes, before we dive into the topics today, we're going to share yet another message from a sponsor for today's episode. They say, it turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in carbs, fat, or even in probiotic-rich foods. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass, and by activating this specific process in the body, he has seen thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health they had in their youth once they simply addressed this key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date, and you can go watch it and learn more at the link in our description today. This is thehealthyfat.com/pop, where he'll teach you exactly how he has kept his weight off for free. Again, that is thehealthyfat.com/pop. Now that is out of the way, we're going to get into our topics today, starting with the sudden and unexpected cancellation of Nick Jonas. I feel like we're having another moment where I have to explain the Disney Channel to you.
You will actually. Before we get a 20 here from DCNC who says Brett is bad at parties. Is that old chestnut back?
Not true. You're fun at parties.
I'm great. Well, that was like an old. That's like deep PCC lore. Brett being bad at parties. That goes all the way back. That was a thing. Remember?
All the way back before me?
No, early day. That was a thing that people would talk about on here. Maybe you don't remember that.
I don't remember them bullying you for that.
They
specifically.
definitely bullied me for that specifically. I am in fact bad at parties.
Oh, the way that you do the Irish exit and
I'm so bad. It's gotten so much worse.
People.
It's gotten so much worse. Like when I'm leaving, it's like I look for the exit, like I'm just bad at goodbyes in general. Like we had There was a dude here from the Daily Caller the other day.
Okay.
The dude, he's like the creative. When Richie was on Monday, and we talked for like 20 minutes, and it was really, really cool. He was talking. He's got like a puppet show that he does. A puppet show, and we were talking about it. We talked about pop culture. He watched the show and stuff like that, and like we did this whole thing. And then when it came time for the exit, I'm just so bad at it. Like I imagine that it's one of those things where nobody else actually thinks of it that way. But in my head, there is the perfect exit of a situation, and I'm yet to find it. I'm kind of on the search for the perfect, smooth exit
You just be
from
like,
every situation.
It was nice meeting you. Have a good night. You know?
I mean, that was basically what it was, yeah. But it never feels right.
I think you're doing it perfectly fine. Yeah. It's just you're overanalyzing it in your head afterwards, like, oh, I messed it up. Like,
definition of me.
I said the wrong thing. Maybe we should reach out to this guy and see what he thought. So he can give you a performance review.
Let's talk about Nick Jonas.
Yeah, Nick Jonas is being attacked right now by former stans of his because he appears to take a liking to Elon Musk. And this all started because Elon was replying to a headline about the decline of Tesla. And they say in this tweet, everyone thought Elon Musk was destroying the brand of Tesla and he shouldn't be involved in politics. Tesla is up 100% since Donald Trump won. He responded to this headline with a GIF of the Jonas Brothers. I don't think he even knew that this was a GIF of the Jonas Brothers because Elon Musk is how old? Like 50?
Yes.
I don't think that he grew up with the Jonas Brothers like I did, so he...
Maybe his kids?
Probably just thought this was a meme and had no idea who these people were. But he said, my, how the tables have turned. And Nick Jonas saw this on his timeline and probably started fanboying a little bit. He responded and said, take us to the year 3000.
And you had to explain this to me.
I did have to explain the context.
Never a teenage girl.
Yes. Well, I was actually like 8 years old when this song came out. But, you know, during the prime days of the Jonas Brothers, as they existed as a boy band, one of their hit songs was called Year 3000. And... you know, if you haven't listened to it, you really should. This is going to improve your life significantly.
I mean,
it's a bop. A certified bop.
Gents, I would welcome anybody giving me the advice on whether that's actually true or not. Go listen to it after the show.
Not much has changed, but they live underwater.
So the point is that they're saying, they just assume that everybody who's ever entered like the pop music space is just a generic, I guess, liberal, even though I don't know what liking Elon Musk would have anything to do with politics inherently. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it now. Like the idea here is that he's tied very closely to Donald Trump. So you can infer, that's right. Actually, one of the sadder things about it is like, you can now infer someone's worldview based on how they feel about people that used to tangentially have no connection to politics.
Well, okay, if this had just been any random Elon Musk tweet, I would agree with that. Okay. But since Elon was responding directly to a headline that was about his benefiting from Trump's victory, like
I was making more general point.
Nick Jonas's response now seems a little bit more like it's not just pro Elon, but also pro Trump. Okay. So people really took it there. And he is a former Disney Channel kid alongside his brothers, but they also come from a fairly normal middle-class suburban upbringing. They were raised religious as well. I'm not entirely shocked that these would be their values quietly held for years. My only
real exposure to Nick Jonas is he had like a 2 or 3 episode arc playing a bad guy on Hawaii Five-0.
Really? Yeah. He's so unconvincing as a villain, though.
He kidnaps Captain Grover's daughter and like locks her in a dog cage.
Nick Jonas does not look like the type. Like, that is really bad casting.
That is my experience with Nick Jonas. I think it was Nick. I think it was Nick.
That's crazy. Yeah. It should have been Kevin.
But the problem is that so actually it might be different. So liking Elon Musk generically may not say anything about you politically, but having strong negative feelings about him definitely does.
Yeah, I don't really care for Elon's personality.
But you don't have like a deep disdain for him that comes from people talking about how he's like a bad person and how it's weird because he's his causes should be like darling causes of the left, being like
transhumanism, for instance.
Yeah, but not just that. That's actually probably more in depth. But the idea of Starlink even seems like it should be something that they would champion. But also electric cars. Come on, they love that. They love they hate fossil fuels.
Right. Yeah, you would think that he would be their favorite, but a lot of people have a profound disdain for this man, and I don't trust him, and I don't particularly like him either. I don't feel any like, you know, the way I feel about Trump?
Yeah.
Like, he just makes my heart flutter.
Yes.
Like, I just love Trump. I can't not love Trump. I don't feel any type of way like that about Elon Musk. Yeah. He's just not as charming, in my opinion.
I mean,
but aside from any of that,
they're vastly different people.
I am not going to be wishing death on anyone else who happens to be a fan of Elon Musk. Like, that's the crazy responses that I've been seeing to Nick Jonas so far. First off, someone said, I used to pray to God to take your diabetes away. For context, Nick Jonas has type 1 diabetes, and I know this because he was a vocal advocate for diabetes awareness back when I was watching him on Disney.
See, that's what
I don't know why they chose that to be his pet cause, but now
that's what their causes should be. We should have completely boring causes from celebrities. Like, anytime you go to IMDb and you see about some celebrity, it's like they're really big into animal rights advocacy. I'm like, that's awesome. That's
very
so hipster
vintage.
Now. It's vintage. It's old school.
Yeah. But one person replied and said, I hope that he gets type 2 now. Others were hoping that he loses access to insulin because he's a fan of Elon Musk. Another one said, I did not have a crush on Nick Jonas for this to happen to me. This is why all the bad bitches liked Joe Jonas.
So they're turning it into like a personality test?
Raise the price of insulin now. Here's the thing, though. If Nick Jonas is, you know, kind of Republican-leaning or right-leaning, conservative-ish, I would guess that his brothers are as well. In fact, I even learned that Kevin, his oldest brother, waited until marriage. Like, they were very publicly Christian as Disney stars.
That's a pretty big deal considering they were already late to the system. Like, you would expect that to not even be part of the cultural zeitgeist at that point.
Yeah, that was back when I think like young stars were still, you know, wearing purity rings.
Yeah.
For instance, like that was a thing back then, and it wasn't dated yet. It wasn't seen as cringe yet. But yeah, one person responded saying, people acting shocked about this development as if the Jonas brothers aren't just 3 non-college educated white evangelical men from New Jersey, statistically the most likely demographic to buy into Trump and Musk's whole deal.
That might be the most glaring example in all of this of why Trump won. The absolute like ego behind this tweet, mentioning first of all, I don't know if they're evangelicals, but the reference to non-college educated, which they love to point out.
Well, they're also pitting the brothers against each other, mentioning that his brother Joe has posted multiple times about being pro-choice, being pro-LGBT. So we can safely guess that he did not vote for Trump, didn't vote
That's
Republican.
That's weird because Trump isn't going to give an a national abortion ban either, and
doesn't matter.
And Trump doesn't care about being LGBTQ, as we know, hiring the first openly gay cabinet member.
But that's also not good enough because he can post all the cute infographics he wants, but he has been already canceled for his messy divorce.
All this says to me is it's depressing, because what's depressing about it is back in the day, you could interact with who you interacted with, and it didn't have to signal something greater to the culture. And if I was a celebrity, I wouldn't even want social media, because if you're talking about stuff like this where every single person that you respond to in any way, you have to worry about what the rest of the culture thinks of that person before you interact with them. And that's just not a way to live.
It's weird, though, because, you know, Grimes is a pop star. She's a pretty big deal. She had 3 children with Elon Musk. I have not seen the same level of backlash directed at her.
Yeah, but she has since publicly come out against him, and she did that before he went through the shift in the culture that he has gone through now. Who Elon Musk is to the culture now is very different than who he was even 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking how fast that happened, right?
It was already happening, but then when he bought Twitter, it went into overdrive.
He was very lib and pro-LGBT, including the T.
Yeah.
Up until quite recently. People don't remember that, but Grimes appeared shocked that he changed his opinions on those issues.
Well, I don't know what it means for all of it. I just do know that it's
this.
depressing.
$50 super chat from
Thank
Jose
you.
Quintana. Merry Christmas, Optical Overlord and the Grand Ghost Empress. This is my gift to PCC for providing us with the enjoyable, cute, repulsive cringe and my personal brain rot. I serve at the pleasure of the Empress. Well, sort of. LLPCC. Is that long live?
Long live
Sorry,
PCC.
long live PCC. Well, thank you for the big super chat.
Thank
We
you for that.
Very much appreciate that.
Yes. And a Merry Christmas to you
Yeah,
as
Merry
well.
Christmas.
May you watch many good Christmas movies over the holiday break and eat good food and all that.
Everyone in the chat, tell
Spend
us
time with
what
your
your Christmas plans are.
One of the things
Anything
I
exciting we want to know about.
One of the things I regretted was like when I did a video for Red One, just a quick video on my thoughts on it, and then scheduled it for Christmas release. And it was like I did wish everyone a Merry Christmas at the end, but probably should have led with something at the beginning. But because I don't have the ability to focus like that,
This is
or
more
plan
of your
ahead,
overthinking brain.
it's the way my brain works.
Like, no, you should have said Merry Christmas before that.
It's worse. It's not even worse. Like thinking it after the fact is bad. A lot of times I'm thinking it while it's going on, and that's why my train of thought is so horrible.
Do you remember this controversy about Starbucks cups?
Yes.
When was that? 2015?
Maybe a little bit.
Because
after
I
that.
remember the Starbucks
You mean the
cup.
colors of the cups.
Yes.
And then having it to do with Christmas and stuff, right?
Yeah, they've always done Christmas cups. It just like randomly popped into my mind again. This was before I was really politically interested, but they were mad. Like there were Christians who were like mad that the Starbucks Christmas cup was just red without any designs related to Christmas.
Yeah, because they felt like that America's cultural identity and practices were being kind of slowly removed.
But the other cups never had anything related to Christmas either.
Yeah.
They just had like random
We talked
like
about this
sleighs and stuff.
We talked about it last year a little bit, which was like I started looking into the whole idea of the war on Christmas. And you can go all the way back to the late 90s and the early 2000s, and
we did a video on that.
And you really get a feel for just how long all of this cultural back and forth has been going on, because
the culture war
as it is today, you know, however urgent you may think it is, and I suppose it is, has been going on for a long time. And then you look back and you're like, the Glenn Becks and the Breitbarts, and they were all talking about this stuff before I was in high school.
Thank you.
They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Okay. All right. Shall we move on?
Maybe I'll just wait for this money gun to shoot money. There he goes.
Okay.
Finally, some peace and quiet. Oh, no. Okay. Now we finally have peace and quiet. There is a rebooted Karate Kid movie coming out. Karate Kid Legends is coming out in 2025. The trailer just came out as well. And as far as I can tell, it's just going to be more reheated Hollywood slop. It's, you know, they're bringing back Ralph Macchio. They're bringing back Jackie Chan, who was in the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie that I grew up with, actually. And it's just, it looks like it's going to be garbage, to be honest. I want to have an optimistic take, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be any good.
I have the optimistic take. I'm ready for this one.
You don't even know what it's about, and you're already on board.
Yep, I am.
Right.
I'm more so on board with this than I am for that announcement I saw, however real it may be, about a possible Disney X-Files reboot. I'll tell you that.
Well, okay, fair enough.
All right, so let's go ahead and watch the trailer here, guys. I can already almost guess what the general response is going to be for this, but I'll be interested to see in the comments what you guys think of this. So here we go.
Right.
Our traditions are rooted in history. Kung Fu. Karate. The tree grows strong.
You knew Mr. Miyagi?
I did not come looking for Sensei Miyagi. I came looking for you.
Why do they kind of look alike? Their faces are shaped the same.
Are you saying that all
In
Asians
life.
look the same?
But he's not Asian.
You
Daniel's
have
son is not
only
Asian.
one question.
I thought you were talking about Ben Wang.
Is it worth
No,
fighting for it
Daniel and Mr. Miyagi. Same shaped face.
or not? Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi.
I think it's the haircut.
I'm doing this for all of us. Whatever it takes. Two branches. One tree.
Okay.
You mentioned they credit Ben Wang
Yes.
as introducing Ben Wang.
The dreaded introducing insert actor name credit here. There's a long history in Hollywood of that never working out for actors, where they get the now introducing this person and they just don't go on to being very successful. Look, I enjoyed it. That trailer, I'll tell you why. I find that kid to be more believable and endearing than Jaden Smith in the 2010 one, mainly because Jaden Smith was like 10 years old and his arms were that big and it wasn't very believable. At least it looks like he's trying to be the same age roughly as what Daniel was when the original Karate Kid came out, right? They paid at least some lip service, some attention to Mr. Miyagi at the beginning. They didn't overdo it, which I would have been, as important as it is, one of the things that Cobra Kai did very, very well was being very respectful to the lore in universe, you know, and respecting the likes of Mr. Miyagi, which was very, very important. Now, they didn't spend a ton of time on it, but if they had spent more time on it in a 2-minute trailer, I might have been suspicious that it was kind of covering for something. I found the kid to be endearing. Jackie Chan looks great for his age, and the action looks fine, but I like Jackie Chan in comedic roles, not serious roles most of the time. Like, I love Rush Hour.
There were comedic moments
But-
in the Jaden Smith
Yeah.
Karate Kid. I just
I know I'm going to be in the minority here, but I thought it was I thought he was believable as an underdog character.
Yes.
He's got the right look for it.
He is 24, by the way.
Yeah.
So it is kind of ironic. They cast Jaden Smith in the 2010 Karate Kid remake when he was like 12 years old, maybe 11.
Yeah.
And now Ben Wang, playing the new iteration of the Karate Kid, is 24 years old, playing someone, what, like
Yeah.
8 years younger than
Yeah.
than himself in real life. We have a big super chat from Just Cause I'm Free. Merry Christmas, Mary, but not Brett, because
Aw.
justice for Mocha, LOL. My plans for the holiday is meal prep and exercising. Boring, I know, but oh well. Curious what everyone else has planned. You
Look.
sound very type A. Maybe Christmas is the time for eating a bunch of food, not meal prepping.
It's going to be a very busy
well.
Christmas season for me. I'm excited.
Lots of baking.
I'm not baking.
You're
but
not
we're,
baking.
We're going to be
a lot of eating, baking.
eating, baking, traveling. It's going to be great.
Well, this says American-born Chinese star Ben Wang plays a new student named Li Fong, who becomes the latest protege to Daniel and Mr. Han. Wang was found after Chan and Machio announced a worldwide search that saw thousands of young actors around the world audition for the role. He was chosen in part for his variety of martial arts skills. He
The
said,
actor? The actor?
yeah.
Okay.
He said, I was the target audience when that movie, the 2010 movie, came out. I was exactly the age of the character. That whole movie takes place in Beijing, and I had just come back from living for a year in Beijing. I grew up watching Jackie Chan movies. He's the first memory I have of knowing what an actor is. It was all of my favorite things in one place. I relate on that. And like, to be fair, the argument for making a Karate Kid remake in 2025 is so that a new generation of kids can enjoy it.
Well, that new generation can. It's called Cobra Kai, and it's on Netflix.
Even Cobra Kai kind of fell off. That's my controversial take.
I only went up through season 5, but
yeah, kind of. It was okay, but it fell off.
it is funny because I actually think inherently the ability to tell a great story in Cobra Kai is actually more difficult than telling a great story in movie format, because the movie format is more condensed and allows you to build drama around one singular storyline with maybe a B plot, right? Whereas Cobra Kai, you have all of these kind of connecting factors with all the students on top of the overly ridiculous premise that Daniel is like fighting for the soul of the valley via karate dojo battles. And the idea,
But
and
that's
I made
wholesome in a
my
way.
favorite part is like in any other world, the wife is cynical. Where in this one, she's like, I mean, they have their problems. It's like, Daniel's fighting the other karate dojos again.
Right. She's
I love it.
lovingly exasperated with him.
Will we get Johnny? That is the real question. Will we get Johnny in this movie?
What's the name of that actor?
Oh, somebody in the chat.
don't know. But it's more-
William Zabka?
It's
Zabka.
more likely that they offered Jaden Smith a cameo role for this movie than they offered the actor who played Johnny. If I
Nah.
had to guess. Especially because Jackie Chan is in it. But
Both of them.
they're
Gotta get them
mixing the Karate Kid universe into this like extended cinematic universe. But, you know, to be fair to the argument for a 2025 Karate Kid reboot, I, as a kid, loved the 2010 Karate Kid. Like,
It makes the argument as to why reboots end up actually working some of the time because the new generation can discover it.
I'm the same age as Ben Wang, and I watched it at the same time as him.
I was right
So-
about William Zabka.
I understand what he's trying to say. Jose Quintana said, I'll be working through Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. By the way, best martial arts movies in my lifetime. 5 Deadly Venoms, Mystery of Chess Boxing, and Fists of Fury. Mary, these were decades before you. Brett, familiar with any? Long
Fists
live
of Fury,
PCC.
not the others.
I'm not familiar with any of those.
I think like it'll probably end up doing what they did in the show, which is at the end of each season. At the end of each season, they introduce another character that was canon to the movies. Like, oh, there's John Kreese.
But this is a movie.
I'm saying, but maybe they'll do a post-credit scene, and Johnny and Jaden Smith will show up in the post-credit scene. Jaden Smith turns heel and becomes co-dojo creator with Johnny.
See, it's cheapening the whole thing.
I love
Am
it.
I wrong?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like,
You're not wrong. Look, I just thought that the trailer itself took itself the right amount of serious.
yeah.
It didn't overdo it. It didn't overdo any of it. I liked it.
Thank you, guys.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat.
Well, I don't know. I don't have much faith in it. Maybe I'm just too cynical, too jaded at this point to feel connected to this.
It's also completely plausible that if this caught me on a different day, I could have had a completely different
I'm sure.
take on it.
If you woke up on a different side of the bed.
I'm like, oh, fucking garbage. Like,
yeah.
No, like
Also, the director has never directed a movie before.
that is more concerning.
Just
than any of
saying. Just gonna put that out there. Everyone deserves a first chance, but should it be with an IP that a lot of people care about? Probably not. But his name is Jonathan Entwistle.
Yep.
He did direct a TV show for Netflix that I really enjoyed. It was short-lived. Only was
What
out
was it
for a
called?
couple years. It was called The End of the Effing World.
Of course, you loved a show called The End of the Effing World.
It wasn't actually about the apocalypse. I did enjoy it though.
Okay.
So maybe I should have faith in this. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and
If
see.
Cobra Kai fell off and I had to give up on Cobra Kai, I don't feel super hopeful about this one.
We'll have to wait and see, guys. Let us know what you think down below. And I'm also, guys, I am very interested to see what is going to happen tomorrow with the release of the Superman trailer, which I noticed they got rid of the Superman, like it's just Superman now. So I'm very interested to see what that. They released they did the thing today where it's like the preview to the preview that came out today. It's like 40 seconds long.
Okay.
Shows a bunch of
Didn't see
people
that
looking
yet.
at Superman as he's flying through the sky.
All right.
So, all right, let us move on.
The ultimate fate of TikTok hangs in the balance. They are still on a countdown until January 19th, where there's a strong possibility that TikTok will be banned in the US effective 2025. People who are addicted to TikTok are obviously having a full-on meltdown right now. They're not ready to let go of their For You page. And it looks like you're just going to either get a VPN or not be able to open the app at all. If you get a VPN and you start scrolling, the app will just start having so many bugs that you can't update the app.
It's kind of worse.
You
right?
can't
Like,
update the app to fix any of the bugs. The bugs will just start piling up and making the app less and less usable until it just like takes its last gasp of air.
It's kind of like
and
that,
shrivels up and dies.
Like it's the joke. It's like one day you and your friends went out for the last time.
Yeah.
And you don't.
One
remember.
day you picked up your kid for the last time.
So in this, it's like, what would be worse? Would the worst be, oh no, I wake up on January 20th and my phone just says no?
It better be like that. It would be so much better to just go cold turkey. We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Greetings to the purveyors of my daily recess from stocks and work. I'll be spending Christmas with a great group of friends for the 36th year. Lots of gifts, cold duck, and ugly sweaters.
Good for you.
It sounds like a very fun time.
Pop Culture Junkie dropped his resume yesterday, and he should be here, not me. That is true.
He's an impressive
He's
individual.
an impressive individual. Thank you.
The rumor is that there is... Yes. There is a rumored bidding war between Disney and the Kardashian family.
Do we believe this?
For who is going to buy out TikTok and save it for users in the United States? I think it's more likely that Disney had a chance of purchasing TikTok. Just they have more means to do so.
I love the idea that she just doesn't want to be bothered raising North, so she bought it so that North would have something to do.
No, really though, the theory is that Northwest is so addicted to TikTok that she begged her mom to purchase the app for her so that it wouldn't get banned in the US.
I don't really believe that, but you know, anything's possible.
The estimated worth of TikTok is somewhere over 100 billion, which would theoretically be achievable for Disney that bought
Fox for like 70 billion.
They bought 21st Century Fox for 70 billion.
They're still paying for that, like to this day.
Yeah. But TikTok genuinely, like that might be a worthy investment for Disney. I don't want that to happen. I honestly think it would be better in the long run if TikTok either gets banned in the US or simply remains accessible in the US under Chinese operation.
Yeah.
PCC is CCP backwards, just saying. Yeah. That's totally irrelevant, means nothing.
Nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Should we play this video?
Yeah, here were a couple of TikTokers who were sharing their theory about the Kardashians saving TikTok.
TikTok is officially banned, but the Kardashians is buying the app. So many of you may know, or many
Hold
of you
your
may
breath
not
for
know,
the source.
But TikTok was planned to be over with January 19th. That's the whole, like, everybody's going crazy. The app is finna be over with. Everybody's running to limit 8. Y'all, we don't gotta do it no more because the Kardashians just posted it everywhere that they're buying TikTok.
They literally did not do that.
They did not post anything of the sort.
This dude's cooking right now.
That American people can still have TikTok. So mind you, TikTok was supposed to be through.
Bro is telling
18th.
fabulous tales.
I like the idea that the Kardashians just like Venmo'd China like $100 billion.
Of 2025, but now it's gonna we're gonna be able to have it because the Kardashians are planning
traded
to buy
it for
January
like
1st,
Kylie lip
2025.
kits.
So TikTok is no
and
longer not
Skims.
leaving. We're still gonna have this app. I'm so glad that the Kardashians is buying it because they're gonna keep it trending, useful, fun, trendy, all of that. So yeah, TikTok is not going nowhere, and the Kardashians is saving the day. So make sure y'all go tell everybody. You know, TikTok is not going nowhere. The Kardashians is buying it.
I love it.
I actually trust the Kardashian family less than I trust the Chinese Communist Party.
Nah.
I would rather the CCP run TikTok than the Kardashians, genuinely.
Nah, give it to the Kardashians. I'm
I
down
don't
for the
know.
Kardashians to have it. Okay, we got another one. Are we gonna watch this one as well?
Yeah, this is where it snowballed, started getting spreaded like everywhere.
Here we go.
Bad that she just convinced her whole family to buy TikTok. I was just watching a TikToker and I'm seeing a few videos going around
She might have to release another sex tape if she wants to raise all the capital to get this thing.
Right.
right now.
Desperate
I
times.
guess basically the Kardashians is buying TikTok. I don't know for sure if this is real or not, but I hope this shit is true. This is gonna make me fuck with the Kardashians so much more if this shit is true. Like, y'all do not know how much, like, what the fuck. But I don't know though. TikTok is worth a lot of fucking money. I don't know if they whole I don't know. Probably the whole family do got it put together type shit.
I don't think the whole family has has $100 billion.
But y'all, let's just hope and pray that
No.
this
Not even
shit go how
close.
it needs to go, because I don't want to go.
Joint venture with Disney.
I don't want to go no fucking where
Maybe
else.
that's what it is.
But I haven't yet seen this on no like official sites or anything like that. I just seen
Because
TikTok.
everyone's making it up.
Well, the idea
Somebody has
is
to get the
if
information from
Disney
somewhere.
purchased TikTok,
And if it's
they're
not
going to
valid,
include
not
it in a
true,
bundle with
please,
Disney
let's just
Plus
manifest.
subscriptions,
Oh, okay.
right?
The irony is these two videos are the proof as to why people make the argument that it should be banned, because people just be coming out here saying shit they know isn't true as if it's true.
Someone said, "I'm dead. Thank God for North." Like they're just giving North the credit. Like these people are tragically addicted to doom scrolling, obviously, but it's really sad. The rumor about Disney I find slightly more believable.
No, at one point, I remember people were saying at one point Disney was interested in buying Twitter, and we're like, it's a
Oh,
dumpster
no.
fire. We're not doing that.
No.
And look, maybe this is a time. You know who needs to be on the come up right now? Snapchat. They need to be like, you know what?
Disney would buy.
No, I'm saying Snapchat needs to be like once TikTok is banned, Snapchat just needs to be like, guys, remember us? We used to matter. Come on. Come back to Snapchat.
They're so hilariously irrelevant. Actually, no. I think Snapchat is still widely used. I've aged out.
Yeah.
I've been aged out of Snapchat for like at least half a decade now. So I don't really know whether that's relevant anymore, but the acquisition rumors about Disney buying TikTok originated from an outlet called Mousetrap News.
Totally reputable.
They say, breaking news, Disney officially bought TikTok. This comes only a day after the court ruled that TikTok needed to be bought by a company in the US or banned permanently. It will not be banned in the US and will operate as usual. Disney acquired the app for $100 billion, which is their most expensive acquisition yet. And then you scroll to the bottom of this page, you look at the About section, and it says that Mousetrap News is a satirical news site.
What's funny is like the meme used to be like, I don't watch TikToks. I watch reels that were available on TikTok 3 weeks earlier, like a normal adult. Now all of those TikTokers are going to have to come to Instagram and release their content there and monetize on that platform.
I never thought that I would be scrolling reels, but I found myself doing so lately for the cringe.
You actually said that it was, I'm telling you, Instagram is
quite nice.
Instagram is way better for your mental health.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is watching reels and satire stuff.
Cat videos.
I was sending people these videos the other day. It's like mini retro camera, and it's a product placement for a camera, like a little thing like this. So you use it to film video.
I think I've seen that.
And it shoots like 16 millimeter video and stuff like that. And all of the reels are cut together where it's like just regular shots that are shot on look like old cameras, and then it cuts in clips of 9/11.
Oh.
So it's all or other such horrible things, and that's their marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And that's what all their reels are.
We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Brett would never want your job. Filtering out all that cultural sludge to find the tasty parts. Would rather have my toenails yanked one at a time by rabid weasels with rusty pliers. That's, I don't know. I don't think our job is actually that unpleasant, but I'm glad that we do it instead of you.
The only time I really feel that is like the Me Too stuff. the very, very serious stuff that leaves you a little bit jaded because you have to keep reporting on it. And it also runs kind of headlong into the tone of this show, which is just not so serious. So it's extremely relevant. We have to talk about it. But the show itself is not an extremely serious show. So striking a balance, that's why we always make the joke about tonal issues. But I do love my job. And we're happy to do it for you guys.
I really think it would be so dystopian if Disney owned TikTok. Especially if they started charging people subscription fees with their Disney Plus account to use TikTok. It would be the death of the app and the death of the organic virality that exists on there. I honestly
like what's
think
happening with Twitter.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, but even on TikTok, it's easier to go viral than on X. You really can only take advantage of the way that the X algorithm works if you are a premium subscriber. TikTok is totally free. You can post something, and if it organically catches people's interest, you can get thousands upon thousands of views and likes within its first 10, 20 minutes, and it just goes on and on from there. And I don't think there's any other platform that compares.
As for TikTok?
Yeah, there's no jailbreaked platform like that. It doesn't exist. So I really don't want a US company to own it because they're going to just lock it down the same way that they've done with Meta platforms and as well as Google,
Well, this is the
YouTube, the app we're on right now.
I was watching a Clownfish video earlier that they were talking. I've been really enjoying watching their content covering Blue Sky and the continuous.
People are still using that?
And what they were talking about was like some business insider was giving like an evaluation where he's like, they've got 6 months. If they don't find a way to monetize, it's going to go the way of the dinosaur, as all of these platforms do. Because that's what happened to Twitter, right? It was activists that kept Twitter free, but as soon as Elon took over, it became monetizable. You know, you could pay to use it and then also make money on it. But that does grow the rage bait and the very obvious, like, it's the end of the month. Say something crazy, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of your job as like a user of any platform to be able to delineate what is what on these and know like what, and in the good ones, the ones who are the master baiters, for lack of a better word, are very good at it. And they're very good at, it's usually not even long posts. It's just something really, really infuriating. You can't even put a word to it.
It's like you can't even tweet without including a video or photo, visual assets of some kind.
And everything is
for the
thread
purpose
now.
of taking up as much real estate on someone's screen as possible, getting as many people to click. It doesn't feel organic or fun anymore. And I have been banned from TikTok for quite some time now, so I don't really know how fun it is anymore. But it sounds like it hasn't changed all that much since I got banned. And there was a creator fund that you didn't need to pay to be a part of. Thank you.
I mean, Instagram does that too. You can.
I think you do need to pay Instagram monthly.
Maybe. I mean, when I was monetized on Instagram for a period of time, and I never paid Instagram.
They changed it because they can't allow you to make money without giving them any of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know what you think, guys. Are you looking forward to the TikTok ban? Personally, it's in our best interest on this show for TikTok not to be banned because so much great content comes from it.
That's a really good point. So I don't want TikTok to be banned, but I also don't want it to be bought by a U.S. company. I hope this whole thing just goes away. But regardless of whether the Kardashian family or the Disney Corporation is owning and controlling TikTok, I kind of want nothing to do with it either way.
Okay.
Like both of those outcomes sound sinister to me.
Okay. All right. The requirement will be like you'll only be allowed to use it with filters on there that make it look like you've had plastic surgery if the Kardashians buy it.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. We're
gonna slay.
Let's look at cute of the day, guys. I got a couple here. Please go and submit cutes of the day. If you've sent them and they have not shown up on the show, I do ask you to resubmit to the show. Hashtag PCCPets, tag me and the show in there so that we can add it in there. But I've been going through it and just got to get more on screen here. So here's one. This one's from Melissa. He loves his belly rubs. Marty Man.
Aww.
Marty Man does look like he loves his belly rubs.
like the distortion of the camera makes him look very short.
I posted a selfie going steady with Toast last night on Instagram. Not on Instagram, but on the story post.
Toast face card never declines.
No, never. Nope. All right, let's do one more here. Who is this one? Yep, this one's from it says, this is Dory, who made it to 20 years old in the most gentle, sweet one could ask for. That is a very adorable kitty.
She doesn't look a day over 15.
Yeah. And then they've attached another one. Says, this is Zeus, the most lovable friend of 17 years who sits with me while we listen to PCC.
Aw. Love all the PCC cats. Very beautiful eyes.
Amazing. Thank you for that, guys. Thank you
cute.
so much. All right, let's do Cringe of the Day. So again, guys, submit those to the channel on Twitter. Hashtag PCC Pets. Tag me at Brett Dasovic and the show popculture_show in the description. So here we go.
Cringe I sent you today is a parody of Nara Smith.
Okay. Here we go.
Today, Lucky said he wanted to try something sweet and sticky. So today, we're gonna be trying Pop-Tart.
If you're going to have logos on screen in anything other than a selfie, for gosh sakes, flip the image.
Yeah,
You're like,
I didn't think
I
this
hate
through.
I hate that. Pictures, that's fine. But there's like people who do like brand videos, like content creators who make brand, and they don't flip the image and it's got like the logo backwards. Maybe they actually mandate they're like, it'll look more authentic.
Well,
if
then that's the first thing that bothered you about the video.
Sorry, we'll start from scratch. Again,
like of all things that you could have been disturbed by in this video, it was that.
my brain is a hellscape. Here we go.
Today, Lucky said he wanted to try something sweet.
Wait, why is it frozen?
Hold, please.
Sticky. So today, we're gonna be trying Pop-Tarts. So it looks like these are in the cookies and cream flavor.
I love getting cream.
Lucky, did you download Grindr? I'm not sure what to... Lucky, drop! Sorry, guys. Lucky always has something in his mouth. Except me. Give it back! Okay, Lucky. Open up that box. Okay, it looks like they're in tin foil. You know I don't like rectangles! Okay, so it looks like we have to put this in the toaster.
Can I have more than one?
Lucky always wants seconds.
I didn't know I never have a problem finishing the box.
Put it in, Lucky. Oh, I think I felt that telepathically. Lucky, don't do that! This frosting looks a little bit familiar to me.
What?
Never mind, never mind. Okay, Lucky, touch the tart. Lucky, the Pop-Tart. Let's have a taste. Lucky, Mama needs liquid. Lucky, I'm stuck. Pop-Tarts, I am traumatized. My cookie is crumbling, and my cream is creaming. How dare you do this?
So yeah, Nara Smith blocked them on everything. Because that was weird.
I will give them credit on one thing.
What?
I like the idea that they're like, let's go buy one product and make an entire video around it. So they went to the store. You know, inflation, what it is, they probably spent a little bit of money on that huge box of Pop-Tarts, but they got a lot of content out of it. So I will give them points as creatives for that.
Yep, on a shoestring budget. That is cinema.
Okay.
It's just so bad. Okay.
All right, let's get started.
I joked on X yesterday that we won. We actually cyberbullied the Disney Corporation into no longer grooming children with gender ideology lines. And now I'm reconsidering that take, but here's the big news. There was this Pixar TV series in the works for Disney Plus, and they included a transgender storyline in the show that was ultimately removed by Disney because they realized it was going to be a PR disaster for them if they left it in. Yep. Because the culture is shifting. I mean, truly, this would have been not even a second thought for Disney just a couple of years ago. Whereas now they have realized the outrage would be unbelievable if they left this in a kids show. By the way, this is the first of its kind, the first TV series developed by Pixar Studios in general, which, in case you don't recall, just released Inside Out 2 this year, a huge hit. And you can also credit them with taking gay themes out of Inside Out 2. That was a very calculated decision for them. Yeah. They didn't want any parents to see any suggestions of sexuality, any ideology related to sexual orientation, gender identity. This was a very calculated turn for them. They don't want to attract that kind of controversy anymore. So a spokesperson for Disney confirmed the story to The Hollywood Reporter in the following statement. Disney says, when it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline. You don't say.
Think about how different that is from a couple years ago when the Disney execs were talking about the quote-unquote not-so-secret gay agenda.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
How that works.
I kind of agree with, in the chat, said, like, why would you lower Pixar to television anyways? I'm kind of on board with that as well.
Well, yeah, but that's a business decision, not necessarily a decision about their ideological stances. But I mean, it took you long enough. It sure took them long enough to come to the realization that parents are in charge of raising their children, not Disney.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Disney's like, you know what, guys? We'll just double down on the feminism. Where's Rachel? We need to update that Snow White movie.
Honestly, if we're talking about a lesser evil, maybe Rachel Zegler is a lesser evil in this situation. I do not want a show targeting 5 to 7-year-olds to include trans storylines. Like, that's so obviously sinister. It's just so blatant and brazen and in your face. They knew they couldn't get away with it. So yeah, Disney has been, it appears that Disney has been humbled.
Humbled, I think monetarily that is 100% true, that the only way to really get to these companies is through the wallet, through the pocketbook. All the outrage in the world isn't going to stop them from doing something because they ideologically oppose you and they disagree with everything that you're saying. The corporation will only change when it affects their bottom line because yes, they do believe in the message, and yes, they do believe in pushing the message at the expense of the product, but that can only go so far before a dam bursts and something has to give. And they've gone through a series of losses over the last several years. This year, however, look, they had many successes that are, in a lot of ways, like you said a couple minutes ago, a result of those changes. The number one, actually, both of them really include that. So Deadpool and Wolverine certainly wasn't changed to be anything, but it was allowed to be what it was because Disney let Ryan Reynolds make his movie, and he knew what the audience wanted. And then when it came to Inside Out 2, themes were changed, stories were changed to make more broad appeal to the audience. And there's going to be this kind of endless question about what it means to make something with mass appeal as opposed to just making something bland. And they have to find that balance because what they were doing wasn't working. We're out of COVID now. You can't use that as an excuse anymore, though they will probably continue to try to up until 2040. But I don't know. I think that this is a really, really big deal. More so maybe than even Inside Out 2 doing as well as it did at the box office with the changes.
Right. It says more about the direction they're headed. There is a leaked storyboard video going around on Twitter showing the exact storyline that they removed from the show. We cannot show it because of copyright claims.
Everyone keeps getting copyright claimed.
But for you to get a better sense of what this show is about, here it describes the series following a co-ed middle school softball team named the Pickles in the week leading up to their championship game. Each of the 8 episodes centers on the off-the-field life of a character and their point of view, whether it be a player, a parent, a coach, or an umpire. The character that they changed the storyline on remains in the show, but a few lines of dialogue that referenced gender identity have been removed. A source close to Win or Lose, the show, said that the studio made the decision to alter course several months ago, and Disney has declined to comment on any further details. Now, the voice actor, the child voice actor of this character in question, has spoken out about being extremely disheartened by Disney's decision. This says, in an exclusive interview with Deadline, In 2020, Chanel Stewart was scrolling through X when she happened upon a post about how Pixar was looking for an authentic 14-year-old transgender girl to voice a transgender teenager in a new animated series. Stewart, who at 14 had already logged a few commercials, knew instantly that it was her role of a lifetime. Just so we're clear, Chanel Stewart, who they're referring to here, is biologically male, identifies as female, and applied for this role, auditioned for this role, because they were looking for a child trans voice actor.
What was their response?
Here was the response in the Hollywood Reporter, the Deadline interview. I was exactly what they wanted to a T, and that's why it felt so right. I immediately asked my mom if I could do it because I felt like if I don't, it wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? And after finding out the news, I wore it as a badge. I wore it with pride. I wore it with honor because it meant so much to me. The thought of authentically portraying a transgender teenage girl made me really happy. I wanted to make this for transgender kids like me. Well, when the headlines came out that Disney was removing the transgender storyline from Win or Lose, here is what the actor's mom had to say about the decision. It was upsetting because my daughter is transgender and this is her life. I felt like it was very important that we not hide that fact. There may be some parents out there who are not ready to have that conversation, but this is the world we live in and everyone should be represented. Everyone deserves to be recognized. And it felt like it was just another setback for the LGBTQ community. Because it's very hard on transgender teenagers, transgender people, period, especially when you're young and you're trying to figure out how to navigate this world that you live in and be able to grow into your own person. Chanel Stewart said, I was very disheartened. From the moment I got the script, I was excited to share my journey to help empower other trans youth. I knew this would be a very important conversation. Trans stories matter and they deserve to be heard.
What is clear whenever these types of things happen is that what ostensibly was the outcome was that a company made a show with a bunch of different stories in it. They cut something out and that's it. Now, if you're just an actor, and let's be real here, if you're an actor without any political clout, meaning if you're like a straight white dude, and your storyline gets cut, your storyline got cut. That's all it is. But if you have gotten your role based on identity politics, or in this case, the company's pushing of identity politics, it's no longer just that a story got cut, it's that you and an entire community was somehow scorned or hurt in some way, which is not what really should be the approach of an actor. The approach of an actor should be, how many times have you seen interviews with actors where they talk about how, oh, I had a small part in this movie, but it never made it to screen, right? Like actors in their younger days, like, oh, I had a part in that, but it ended up in the cutting room floor. See, the thing is, if you're just an actor and all you care about is doing your job well, then that's fine. You're like, look, I got paid for my work, but it didn't end up in the final product. But when everything in the community is some type of activist cause, well, now the company didn't just edit out your scene because it wasn't right for the project. They edited out the scene because it wasn't right for the project at your expense and you were harmed by it. And that's why these companies were stupid from the very beginning to mix activism with entertainment, because this is their own grave that they have dug themselves.
Well, I mean, fortunately for the voice actor, all they did was remove gender identity lines from the script. So this character still gets an episode all dedicated to that specific character. Yeah. It's just the only difference is it's now considered a straight cis girl. I don't really accept that term means anything, but you know, the character is not trans anymore, is simply biologically female. Mm-hmm. So you still got the job, you got paid the same amount of money. The only thing that changed is you didn't accomplish what you wanted to for your cause.
Yeah, she said I was interested in telling my story. I'm like, what does your story have to do with a character that isn't you?
Well, it's the trans story, so collectively it belongs to all trans people.
Okay.
You're telling a trans story, and that represents them.
Okay.
It helps empower other trans youth. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And you know what? The mom in this story who they interviewed, very sinister person, obviously a basket case.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. That is why your child identifies this way in the first place, and you are directly profiting off of the fact that your child identifies this way. So this woman is insane and deserves no sympathy.
This is a big cultural shift. I do think that this may be the biggest sign of cultural shift when it comes to entertainment right now, this specific story with Disney. Because what it is not only that, but they've been rewarded with the changes they've made with strong box office this year, meaning that Moana 2, however people judged the movie, you know, people had ups and downs. So a lot of people didn't think it was all that great, still made a lot of money and was never criticized for identity politics. Inside Out 2 makes changes that Disney feels push back, you know, against the prevailing nature of identity politics that had been infesting their films, makes $1 billion, makes like $1.5 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine is just an action movie that stays away from any of that stuff for the most part, addresses the comedy very, very cleverly, and makes over $1 billion. You will be rewarded if you just make decent movies that stay away from these themes. But if you want to go back the other way, you could make Lightyear again, I guess, and then make a movie about Buzz Lightyear without the real Buzz Lightyear and a bunch of stuff that nobody wants.
And then like lesbian kiss.
And here's the thing. A lot of people point out that like that wasn't even a big part of it. They just didn't want to go see it because the rest of the movie looked like trash too, but it didn't help.
When the whole movie's trash and then you add the gay kiss in the movie, then it's just like an extra middle finger on top of the whole pile of steaming garbage. But I did want to address, before we move on, some of the seething comments that were left under the Pop Crave tweet about this situation. Disney removes transgender storyline from Pixar animated series, Win or Lose. Here, this reply says, when it comes to animated content, we recognize parents prefer to discuss subjects with their children on their own terms. Translation: we don't want to lose money for the far-right extremists. We need them to love us.
It would have been really funny if Disney just said, we really want the money of far-right extremists.
Like that actually would have been hilarious.
If Disney had been like, we appreciate the money of both far left and far right extremists and would appreciate all of your business.
Another one said, knowing the joy that it gives trans kids on the rare occasion when they get to see media with a trans character they can relate to makes this effing heartbreaking. And knowing how much more capable kids are at understanding this stuff than people assume, it makes me furious.
I still don't care about being represented authentically beyond, you know, like, is the idea that just any white character is supposed to resonate with me, any white male character is supposed to resonate with me, because that's about as surface level of an argument as you can make for anything. Given, you know, like what's the joke is always like, you know, there will always be roles for straight white men because they will always have to have evil corporate leaders in these movies and shows. There's always going to have to be an evil CEO, so there will always be roles for straight white men. I'm not an evil CEO, so I don't feel very represented.
I do.
Also, guys, I do want to point out that this weekend Disney is releasing Mufasa, the prequel nobody asked for from the 2019 Lion King photorealistic remake, and it is going to fall behind Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The first two Sonic movies being great, which I loved, and I am going to hopefully see Sonic at some point before the holidays are over. That is crazy that in 2024, Disney, with an IP the size, you know, as popular as The Lion King was, is going to lose out to Sonic the Hedgehog because Sonic is doing it right.
Another one here said Disney is letting their blatant transphobia show. Disney's transphobia will be remembered. Okay, no one's scared of you. You're just a stan account on Twitter. But I think, you know what? This is possibly a sign that the world is healing.
Yep.
I could be speaking too soon, but I think maybe we're pulling back from the insanity.
We'll have to wait and see. Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
In the chat says, where's the 5'5" white male movies? Yes, I ask you.
What the heck? Where's the representation?
All right.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Wednesday, Brett and Mary. The exclusive video of Mr. Fluffykins during one of his wet work operations has dropped. The bear don't play around."
It was good, Shane. I liked it. I laughed.
have not seen it yet. BCNC said, "Brett is bad at parties." Oh, you already read that one. Brian Bledsoe said, "Heading to Amfest. I'll start a PCC chant when Tim is on stage. I'll catch you on replay after I land. Let's go."
Let's go. Do that.
That's
please.
exciting. Start the PCC chant. But actually, should it be PCC or should it be like the name of the show?
PCC.
Because people are going to be like, what are you talking
PCC.
about? Why are you chanting for the CCP right now at Amfest? They're going to be so confused.
PCC sounds better than Pop Culture Crisis.
Yeah,
Pop
right?
Culture Crisis. PCC.
I don't know.
Do 2 more.
Shane H. Wilder said Brett is healthy fat. Oh no. Also, Brett could do the Southern goodbye. You say goodbye, then talk for another hour at the car.
Well, then that's pretty much what I do.
Is that what you do?
I am healthy fat. Thank
Do
you.
you enjoy that? The Southern goodbye, or are you more of the Irish goodbye type?
I'm the Irish goodbye type.
But then
If I
you
can.
always end up doing the Southern goodbye.
I try to get out of there early, as fast as possible.
Like if you do the Irish goodbye, you really have to
Yeah.
be heartless.
Irish goodbye if you're with someone. Southern goodbye you get roped into if you're by yourself. For me, like if I'm like, I imagine I could be like to Olivia, I'm like, let's just go.
I just love things like that. You know, like if you're at dinner and you wait for like 45 minutes before asking for the check. Like that's just basic etiquette.
So yeah, so here no. So what I do, however, is like if a lot of times I finish doing the post production here, and I go and I scavenge for food over at the IRL studio, like a raccoon. I go over there and I look for something to eat, and I get caught in and I talk to people for 15 to 20 minutes. Then, however, I just walk downstairs and boom, I'm a phantom. I'm out of there, gone. Never to be seen again until the next
You're the
day.
gif of the guy like
I'm
just
evaporating.
evaporating.
I'm just evaporating. Like I was like, I got something to eat. I talked to Kellen for 10, 15 minutes. I kind of vaguely waved to whoever might be like.
Kellen is a chatty Cathy
in the green room, and then I'm just boom, I'm gone.
Yeah. V Wit said, "I have a rule: if I say I'm leaving, I then leave."
That is
a solid
very,
rule.
very good. Very good. Let's do one more.
Corey Anderson said, "Today you may refer to me as Tiggy Skibbles."
Well, okay then. All right.
I will not.
All right.
Thanks for the suggestion.
What is going on with the intimacy coordinators? They're back.
Yeah, in yet another iteration of Variety Actors on Actors, Pamela Anderson sat down with an up-and-coming actress, I would say, named Mikey Madison, who is talking about the fact that she opted out of having intimacy coordinators for her sex scenes in her upcoming movie, Honora. And there has been a lot of backlash to her take so far. She just made the personal decision that she wanted to film her sex scenes without an HR representative with a clipboard in the corner of the room, making sure that her co-stars' hands only went where they were choreographed to go. So let's take a look at this clip before we get into it.
All right. Here we go. And right there. All right. And she's with Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
Still not wearing the eyeliner.
Intimacy coordinator, that's the big thing now these days, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, for our film, we didn't. It was a choice that I made, that the filmmakers offered to me if I wanted to bring on an intimacy coordinator or not. And at the time, Mark Eidelstein, who plays Yvonne in the film, we decided that it would be best just to keep it small with us, and then Sean Baker, the director, and Sammy Kwan, his producing partner, and his wife. And so I think that we were able to just really streamline it, shoot it super quickly, and there are less sex scenes, more sex shots. That's what Sean likes to say. And I think there's a lot of humor involved in them as well. And so it was a very positive experience for me. But also my character is a sex worker.
Right.
And so to me, I had seen Sean's films and I know his dedication to authenticity. I also wanted to immerse myself in that. So I was ready for it. It requires a lot of her body and her skin. And so I think that, like I've said it before, but I think she wears her nudity more like a costume in a way. She presents herself in this sort of hypersexualized way because it's how she makes a living. And it's just what she has to do. And so I think I also, as an actress, approached it in a way of like it being a job. So I was very comfortable.
The line, she wears her nudity like a costume is the most actorist thing that an actor has ever acted before in their entire acting life.
Yeah.
Like that, like when they said that, I just know. And I mean, no disrespect to this young woman, but I imagine that deep down she's like, that sounded so cool.
It's uber
Oh,
pretentious.
She's like, that was so smart
But then
sounding.
she's like, then I approached like my job in terms of it being a job or whatever. More to the point of her character in the movie being a sex worker, I just found this explanation so hilarious of how she method acts as a sex worker. She said, it was a character that felt so far away from home in every single way. It was very intimidating at first. How do I empathize with her?
Yeah.
Well, I need to start small. I did quite a bit of pole training. I did a stripper boot camp where I was taught how to give lap dances and how to twerk. I know everything about her, what cigarettes she smokes, what her school life was like. So she went to a stripper boot camp in order to identify and empathize with her character in this movie. Actors are not normal people.
Nope.
Not even close. Like, there's nothing comparable to it. In fact, what sex workers do at least sounds more honest than what actors do. At least they don't put it in all of this flowery language.
I think that a lot of times, look, and I never denigrate the actual job of an actor, because I do think what they do to do it well is actually really, really difficult. The joke is always like, you never recognize great acting, but you always recognize bad acting. Like, you don't realize how bad it can be until you actually see somebody who's really, really bad at it. So I do have a lot of respect for the art of bringing a story, of bringing a script to life. I think that great storytelling is important. It's just another medium in which you can do that. I do, however, always laugh at the self-important language that the artists speak of it, which now maybe it's just because I am not that, so I don't understand. I fully accept that that could be 100% true. I don't know. But whenever they give these speeches about the importance of their work, I roll my eyes. And that's from somebody who does believe that the art of storytelling is important to culture. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that when you speak of yourself in your own work that way, it comes off a little bit ridiculous to everyone who isn't also part of that ilk.
Well, I want to get to the backlash that she received for eschewing the need for an intimacy coordinator. One person responded, "What is happening? No, why would anyone act like they're proud of this?" Do you think she was even bragging about it?
We missed a 20 here from the Based Clone Trooper.
I did not see it.
There was a 40% chance that the trans kid story was going to get cut by its own actions. I guess the odds were in our favor.
Wait, what?
Oh,
that was okay. Yeah, kind of dark.
That was dark.
Anyway, do you think that she was bragging about not having an intimacy coordinator because the trend is to think that they're uncool in Hollywood?
I mean, is this just taking the whole ego of what she's talking about to its logical conclusion? It's like, we don't need one. I don't know. It's is the idea that it's too corporate, that it's too like, is A24 like, we don't need intimacy coordinators, we are the art. Like, I always look again, and I see Tim in the chat, I believe works in the industry. I don't know how important those roles are. I've never understood why a director wouldn't be able to also do that job effectively, but in the way that it's been shown to us, it's an HR job more than anything else. It's there to make sure that nobody can come back later and say, I was treated poorly, now I'm suing.
They're glorified HR reps, but usually they are, like, intimacy coordinators are not people who just do intimacy coordination.
Yeah.
They're usually also directors. They're just not the director of the project that they're doing this for.
It's Tim Morrill in the chat. I think that's how he pronounced his name. He's great, and I know he works in the industry. And he said, I think I saw him say up above, he said, intimacy coordinator is the prerogative of the actor, like to have one on set.
Another person said it's insane that she's receiving backlash from the same people who praise themselves for being the only ones that care about women's agency or whatever. In reality, all they care about is if women conform to their standards and whatever their idea of liberation is. So I guess their idea of liberation is to subject yourself to
HR.
as much HR tyranny as possible in the post-Me Too era. Another person said intimacy coordinators exist to protect actresses from being sexually abused by the actor and director. So they are specifically making it a gendered issue, which is ironic because I did just see a new report from Vulture about a recent Me Too scandal that just came out about an FX show called English Teacher. This was created by Brian Jordan Alvarez, who also starred in that show, alongside two friends. The accuser's name is John Ebling, and he was one of the co-stars of the show creator. So they had a scripted sex scene in this series that was storyboarded, entirely thought up by Brian Alvarez. And
who is the director?
He is the director as well. And the creator of the show has the power to hire and fire. He wrote a sex scene with John Ebling, who was already his friend for years beforehand. So here they describe the incident. This happened on set with cameras rolling. So filming on the third episode would pick up where it left off. In the script, Caleb and Billy, their characters, are back at Billy's apartment. Then the stage directions read, Caleb goes to do so to give oral sex to the character Billy under covers. According to John Ebling, when Alvarez went under the covers, the director went under the covers, he did actually begin performing a sex act instead of mimicking it because he was out of view of the other team members. He said in this interview, I am assuming nobody on set knows what's going on under the comforter, and I just am frozen. I didn't know what to do. I'm on set with the director who is assaulting me. It was a horrible feeling. Yeah. His first reaction was guilt. How did he let this happen? It went on and on from there, and with more witnesses and associates giving their own account of the situation. But
meaning
ultimately,
that they saw what happened on top of the covers, but they couldn't know what happened.
Yeah,
under
exactly.
The covers. That is
scary stuff, especially when it's the director who's doing it. So that's why people were pointing out the irony of how, intimacy coordinators seem to be going out of fashion. One said it's wild for the Brian Alvarez story and Mikey Madison quote about rejecting intimacy coordinators to be blowing up at the exact same day.
Yeah.
If you come to any other conclusion than that intimacy coordinators would have prevented that assault from occurring, I'm not sure how you read the article. But I know the issue of intimacy coordinators is debated, so interested to hear your thoughts.
Do you believe that the intimacy coordinator would have prevented this?
No.
Neither do I. I don't know. I guess, is the idea... no, okay, so I guess the point here is that there had to be a middleman between the director, who's also the actor, and somebody else. So now if this had been two actors and there was a director, you could say, how would the intimacy coordinator have prevented it? Because they could have just gone to the director. In this case, he can't go to the director. Right. The director's the one who's doing this to him.
And he's the one who hired him.
So it's possible. I mean, it is possible, I suppose, that maybe feeling comfortable telling an intimacy coordinator about what happened to you, maybe, but the shame that you're feeling in that moment and the shock and the anxiety of what's going on might have been enough to prevent you from telling anyone, even an intimacy coordinator whose job it is to handle situations like this. Unless the point is the intimacy coordinator would have seen the way you were acting afterwards. Maybe you were so shocked looking, so out of it, that somebody had to have noticed, why is this person acting so different after this scene was shot? That would have been their job, to pay attention to those cues.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or just to make all of the expectations for the actors far more explicit than they were just on the basic script, right? First you're gonna do this. This part of the scene lasts this amount of seconds. Maybe then. But ultimately, whoever wrote that scene and created that scene and cast themselves in that scene, as well as their friend who they've known for years in that scene, they're a pervert. Yeah. Perv alert! Perv alert! Okay, so why would I expect anything different? I've heard far too many stories that are similar to this already to ever give them the benefit of the doubt. This is just a morally bankrupt industry in so many ways, and I don't think scenes like this should be in mainstream TV shows to begin with. So how about that for a way to prevent this from happening?
Yeah.
To just not put porn in our shows.
People, I see in the chat, somebody says he didn't say anything right in the moment, so that sounds like consent. In this case, look, a lot of people might not even believe him. A lot of people might say that he's making it up. I don't know if that's in any case something that the public is saying right now, but it's very hard.
I'm sure some people are saying
it's very hard to get people to take it seriously, as we've seen with a lot of the Me Too cases after that much time has passed. But I don't think inherently that the addition of an intimacy coordinator could have prevented something like that from happening. Maybe it could have, but I don't think so.
There is a Venn diagram of pervs and predators. Big overlap. Some of them are just pervs. Some of them are predators. A lot, probably most of them are both. But it sounds like, you know, you could decide this guy is just a perv, or that he falls into the range of predatory behavior.
Yeah.
Maybe people weren't fully aware of his degeneracy. Like a Sam Levinson, for example, who created Euphoria and The Idol. Definite perv. I have not heard anything about him being a predator.
Yeah.
But he is definitely a perv, and there are more than enough of those to go around in Hollywood. I am not surprised when I hear stories like this.
All right.
Okay, Greg Duvier said, Brett is from Minnesota. We don't know how to say bye. We say bye, start up another conversation, say bye again. After the fifth bye, we finally leave.
This is, for the most part, true.
But so it's you who's continuing the conversation?
Not on purpose.
But you do, you're at fault.
I'm like looking for an out, and I'm not getting it, and it's my own fault.
Don't beat yourself up
My
about
own
it.
fault.
Corey Anderson said, tonight I'll be going out on a midnight lurk. I plan on just being creepy and weird. I will head home after I'm done spitting.
There you go.
I saw this video, I saw this reel the other day where this guy was like day 50 of helping girls get home safe, and then he's just like in the dark, and he's like in a hoodie, and he just starts walking behind a stranger. And she's like looking behind her because he's
think of all of
he's just making sure she makes it to her car.
All of the neurosis that has been built out of that guy's videos.
He's just making sure that she gets home safe. He's just a good guy. He's a gentleman. Potatoes for Seamus said, Baba Booey, Brett loves mocha, Baba Booey.
No.
Is it true?
That is
Are the
not
rumors true?
That is not true.
Corey Anderson said, please, for the love of God, turn up the volume? On what?
Oh, maybe on one of the clips. They were all up as loud as they went, my friend.
I don't know. You're losing your hearing. V. Witt said, I just played Jingle All the Way on a loop Christmas Day.
Okay.
Like, all day? I might lose my mind.
Olivia was telling me about how at her work they play the NSYNC Christmas songs. And I was like,
that's kind of a vibe.
I was like, that's kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think jazz will always be like peak Christmas music. Like anything.
Okay.
Potatoes for Seamus said Brett is getting more height surgery for Christmas.
Well, yeah.
The first one wasn't good enough.
I gotta go to, I don't know, where do they do what country do you have to like sneak into to do the height surgery?
Last time
China?
they lengthened your shins. Now you're going back in to have them lengthen the thighs.
No, the ankles.
Oh, the ankles, right.
And then
what
after
about
that,
knee surgery?
And then, no, thighs.
Do you have knee surgery?
Thighs, then knee surgery.
Got it. Okay. Corey Anderson said Rumble in the Bronx was an amazing movie.
I never saw that one.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
That's the Jackie, or I don't remember. Like, I didn't see that one. But yeah, I know a lot of people love that movie. There's a lot of movies that I still need to see.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm going to 3 masses, 6
Wow.
p.m. Christmas Eve Mass for those who have passed away this year, Midnight Mass, and Christmas Morning Mass, then cooking a ham and spending time with family.
Busy.
How the hell are you going to make it to Midnight Mass and Christmas Morning Mass and, like, still sleep? Is my question.
Yeah.
I usually just do Midnight Mass. That's my plan. Maverick Pilgrim said, what are the chances that Hilary Swank shows up or chances they recast with Sydney Sweeney?
I don't think they're doing
I totally forgot about the
Yeah.
Hilary Swank Karate Kid. Wow.
Yep. Long time ago.
Just one of so many examples since then. Just don't gender swap. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
It's never
Very
a good
true.
idea.
Do one more.
Wasn't it like I might have just imbibed this from a bit on The Office, but wasn't there like a whole cultural phenomenon about debating whether or not Hilary Swank is hot?
I don't know. Is that?
It's funny because that happens to every other female celebrity every other week now, but maybe that was just a bit that I remembered. Corey Anderson said, I would like a derp face Mocha shirt, PCC.
I'd have to ask Mocha's agent if we're allowed to put Mocha on a shirt.
Definitely not.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact.
All right. Well, Gen Z in the workplace, they have a lot of quirks and pet peeves. Obviously, they have older coworkers who don't quite understand them. Been there many a time myself. But I think this is really a nail in the coffin for Gen Z in the workplace. They refuse to hang out. They refuse to chill. There is a new debate about why Gen Z refuses to go out for post-work drinks. There is no excuse for this behavior.
So this one right here?
This TikTok went extremely viral, and it is from a millennial woman who has been in the corporate world. She has noticed that none of her Gen Z coworkers are down to clown after work. They're not going to go get post-work drinks, or they're not going to the holiday parties. They just don't care about getting to know anyone they work with. And she's not sure where this phenomenon came from. Let's listen in.
Here we go.
Guys, I need to vent for a second, and if you don't work in advertising in New York City, you could probably keep scrolling, but I just gotta say, I don't know if it's like I'm a millennial and the mindset has shifted, but it's like, why does nobody want to get fucked up for free anymore? I don't understand it. Like, do you guys remember pre-COVID, like, I don't know, 2017, 2018, like advertising was at the peak, I feel, of like comped vendor events, like holiday parties, happy hours. Like there was so much shit to do for free, and I was making no money. I was an associate. I was like, I don't know, 23, whatever. I would go to everything. I was everywhere. I was like, if it's free, it's for me. Catch me there, and I'm fucking taking leftovers home. Like, why does nobody think like that anymore? Why is it pulling teeth just to get my team to come to a happy hour? Nobody under me wants to do anything fun. As soon as it's 5 o'clock, they're like, bye, see you never. What do you mean? Like, what do you literally mean? Like, why don't you want to get drunk for free? I don't understand. I don't understand. Am I missing something? Like, and not to even sound condescending, but like, I know how much you guys are making. Like, this is a free night out. You can't be like, and like, thank God I'm outgoing because I have to go to everything alone because no one on my team wants to do anything, literally. And it's just like, what happened? What happened to our industry? Is it dying? Or is just like Gen Z in a different mindset than like millennials were? Could someone let me know? I feel fucking insane. And I'm tired of like begging people to do things with me.
Maybe it's just her.
Maybe she's
just
the problem.
Maybe nobody wants to hang out with her.
After work. For free.
For free.
Free.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, having a whole line like, if it's free, it's for me is kind of a vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a 20 from Boosted Yogi. It's because alcohol prevents gains. Hashtag stay swole. I mean, I would like to think it was some reason like that, but I don't think that's the case. And I don't think it's just her industry. I don't think it's just her city. This is kind of a more universal trend.
The Gen Zers are smoking THC vape pens at home.
At work, not at home. Both at work and at home.
We're talking about after work right now.
And while driving.
They're going home and they're smoking THC vape pens, and this lady's whole like overbearing vibe is killing it for them. Like she's like, I can't be around her. She's too in my face.
I kind of love her. She's a Courtney that goes by the nickname Court, which if you didn't know,
that's a different breed.
They're just a different breed, okay? But here's a comment from another millennial. As an elder millennial, I get this. What happened? I'm so sad about this. I made some of my best friends through work in my early 20s, and it just ain't the same. Socializing with your coworkers after hours is not a thing anymore. That is a dead trend. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen now because Gen Z is not interested in socializing, period, especially not socializing with people that they work with, which
they're
is
older
bad
than
for
them?
their careers
Yeah.
and also for their their own personal development.
I've actually made that point here a lot of times where I'm like, I might be the worst networker in the history of the world.
It's a real skill.
Like
yeah.
I literally like when Styx Hex and Hammer was on IRL, I like went down to the green for the first time in like a year and a half to shake his hand and say thanks for making great videos. I've always loved your content. Other than that,
and then you went like this.
and then
Bye.
and then I literally like you could see the stairs going up and I just like slid up the stairs and evaporated from the
You
room.
turned into a puddle.
I did.
And then the liquid Brett just kind of slinked up the stairs.
But, you
Yeah.
know, I never had a corporate office job before this, so I never went to corporate office Christmas parties nor hung out with workers from, you know, that I was coworkers with. But here, I mean,
This
hang out
is
with
an
people from
office job. It is not a corporate office job. So
I hang out with people from work.
I don't have experience doing what that girl has probably done for years, doing the normal
It's for
9
me.
to 5 thing with the holiday parties that are, you know, very tightly regulated.
She likely left off all of the cocaine and all. I mean,
No way.
It's advertising.
She is not
It's
on
advertising. She's going over and she's hanging out with the stock
The
bros.
I think the age of party drugs like that is kind of over.
I do not.
Because of fentanyl, like people
No.
are not really like
No, I think it's still
doing
there.
that. We have another 20 from Just Cause I'm Free. It's now confirmed Mary is an elf. She has a cup bigger than her entire head. Also, Brett could make an ugly Christmas sweater with mocha on it. I'd buy 2 of them.
That's actually not a bad idea.
This isn't bigger. Well, it's like taller than my head. Yeah, fair enough.
I do think that the cocaine is still flowing freely, especially if we're talking
Is that what you sensed from her video?
I'm saying, like, if we're talking Wall Street and ad agencies, yes, I think there's still plenty of cocaine being used.
So Gen Z isn't interested in the stimmies.
Yeah, they're like, I
They
want...
only
no,
want
no, you know why? Because
their
they're doing the
pens.
Adderall in the morning and then the THC at night, so they don't need it.
Come up and then come down.
Yeah.
This tweet also went viral simultaneously as the TikTok. One said, I know Gen Z is often criticized for not being engaged in post-work drinks, but also, has anyone noticed that offices are increasingly barely having any junior staff at all? This person got so much backlash just for pointing this out and talking about Gen Z's weird quirks. They actually deactivated their account.
Damn.
But here's one response from a Gen Zer. I hate post-work drinks. We spend 8 hours of the day together. Why the F would I want to get to know my colleagues even more? I'm never putting a worker under me in a position where they're obligated to go out with coworkers.
You need to, you know, the speakers would say, you have to reframe your language. It's not about making them obligated to, they get to.
Oh,
They're
right.
get-
It's
they
a
get the
mindset.
opportunity
It's a mindset.
to do so.
Another Gen Zer said, post-work drinks don't appeal to me at all.
Hold, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How many is this? 4?
4.
Nice.
Let's go 5. I'd say that means we go out for drinks after work, but I don't drink.
Well, you've gone.
I've gone with when everybody
Yeah.
else goes out.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I do not understand this because a post-work drinks, like, that's fun to me. That's a blast.
We did go bowling on Saturday, me and Phil,
Yeah.
and bowling.
Like, that counts.
Yes.
You know, hanging out with coworkers outside of work.
I mean, but Olivia literally like planned that with like Phil and his girlfriend, like.
But that's also like that's what women do best, you know.
She's like, we're going out
They're
on
bringing
Saturday.
people together.
Yeah.
This other Gen Z response said, post-work drinks don't appeal to me at all. WTF. I've been there for a whole day and you want me to stay even longer? No, I'm going home. You just sound like a whiner.
Yeah, it does.
You sound like a massive
Like,
crybaby.
even if that's how you feel, don't share it.
Like, oh, you want to go home so that you can curl up on the couch with your Stanley cup so you can doom scroll for 5 hours. Like, you're just not acting like an actual adult, like a functioning adult, if you cannot socialize with people that you spend, as they said, 8 hours a day with.
Yeah.
Like, not only is that networking, which is good for your career if you care about that, but it's also just good for your personal development. People used to meet spouses through work. That used to be a thing. Now, because of HR, not as often, but that used to be a thing. People meet friends through work, lifelong friends, connections that are useful to them for decades down the line. And that seems to be completely gone.
There also used to be, I mean, I don't know if it's connected, but instinctively I feel like there was also at one time back in the day, a greater connection between your personal identity and the company you worked for, which isn't really a thing anymore.
True. That is another thing that they were pointing out is Gen Z is just exhausted with the fact that they have to have 5+ years of experience to even get an entry-level job at one of these places.
Yep.
So they, you know, millennials have been noticing ever since they graduated college and entered the workforce, they have continued being the youngest people in their workplace for like a decade.
Yeah.
And Gen Z isn't really getting the same opportunity that they had to join the workforce and work with people who are, you know, 10, 20 years their senior.
Yeah.
They're not getting the same chances. I will grant them that. Like that, I understand. But if you are in one of those jobs, use it to the fullest extent, you know?
Yeah. I definitely would, if I would critique myself, at least as far as professionally, it's like I should be better at like networking and meeting other people and trying to build connections. I go to work, I go home, I go skate. You know, I don't spend enough time doing that. I should be better.
Another Gen Zer responded, I don't even care about the age gaps. I just don't want to sit and drink with men who hate their wives and talk about work after work.
How would you know that they hate their wives if you haven't gone and had a drink with the people at work to know what their personality is like?
Yeah, exactly.
Though I do like the idea that she goes to this guy's cubicle and there's just a picture of his wife with like a big X through it.
No, it's a dartboard. It's a dartboard of his wife's face.
It's like those darts with like the suction cup on the end, and when he's at work, he just throws it like this repeatedly at her.
Yeah.
Because like the phone rings like 12 noon on the dot, and she goes like, "Remember to pick up the prescriptions on the way home."
Ugh, Diane.
Ugh, fuck you. I like that.
You know, this is how I know that I am getting old. It happens to everyone. It's because I just don't understand Gen Z anymore. And I was born in 2000. I am Gen Z. I just don't understand these people. They are truly sick. Like
sick in the head.
Sick in the head. If you were born after like 2004 maybe, like you're just, something's not right with them. Like,
is that what you think that?
They really, like, there's some screws loose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I don't have a lot of hope for these people.
I mean, a big part of it, I think, is like what we have learned increasingly is that the most basic of human interactions have now become like bones of contention. Things that used to kind of bring us together on the societal level now have to be long-winded debates on Twitter about. The joke was always SJWs don't human very well. Maybe the idea here is that Gen Zs don't human very well, at least in the context of what we used to call normal human interaction. But and of course, a lot of them probably are like, I wanna work remote anyways.
Right. I mean, that is kind of how that work remote culture thrived. People were addicted to rolling out of bed, staying in their pajamas, and then watching Netflix from 5 p.m. until midnight and doom scrolling TikTok. Like, it's just sad. It's sad.
I encourage everyone to don't be like me and don't isolate. Actually get to know people, and especially it is good advice all around to get to know and network with people that you're professionally, involved with, because it can go a long way when you have to find another job. Perhaps somebody's moved on to another company. All of these things matter. So
Gen Z is just not capable of small talk. It seems like they're not capable of just basic common courtesies. I have noticed, you know what? It's actually not just Gen Z. I walk into a party gathering of some sort, and people of all generations don't seem capable of even shaking your hand and saying, hello, my name is, in 2024.
Do you got an example of like a setting where that's happened?
I can't say, but yes.
Like like a specific situation, or just like in general it happens?
Happened
Okay.
multiple times, yeah. Like, you know, you'll meet these people for the first time, or you'll, you know, walk in, they don't know who you are, and they just can't be like, hello, nice to meet you. My name is so-and-so.
I will say that I've gone through periods of time where, like, and again, you've made the critique that I tend to overanalyze my own social interactions anyway, where, like, for a couple weeks at a time, I'm just throwing L's left and right with every social interaction. And
you ebb and flow.
It's probably more so me overanalyzing it because it has more to do with my mental state at the time. But there are times where it's like even the social interactions that are just your typical niceties out in public, where a lot of the times, and Olivia will tell you this, like a lot of times I respond under my breath and think I say it louder than I did, and then people think I just ignored them.
Or that you're like mumbling at them.
I respond in my head and then don't actually say anything. Yeah. It's not good.
Well,
guys.
I have mentioned before, maybe a couple times, that I used to have quite a bit of social anxiety, and I grew out of it. I don't know if I even did anything that I could give advice on it. I just grew out of it over time. Yeah. But the easiest thing for me was just realizing that it's okay to make people uncomfortable. Like, you're worried about making other people uncomfortable more so than yourself. So, you know, if you say something that, if you say a joke that other people don't find funny, or like you mispronounce a word, or you're stumbling over your words or something, I mean, it's fine if you're making other people uncomfortable. So I just feel quite at ease now. Apparently the majority of Gen Z is just not in that space.
Well, that's good. That speaks to you, not to them.
I hope that they end up okay.
All right.
DCNC said, Karate Kid, I hope Jaden slaps someone in the face for talking about his girl. Take my girl's name out of your mouth.
That would be good.
Takes after his father.
We're about halfway to a 5th Crisis Party, guys. To Crisis Party 5.
It's totally going to happen. Hiroshima Otaru said Ralph Macchio was 22 when he filmed first Karate Kid. No way. What?
It barely looks a day over 25 now.
He aged really well.
Oh, yeah. No, that's one of the things they talk about. Him, Paul Rudd are the examples of the ones who, in the worst examples is they'll show other people that were in the movies with him that just didn't age as well as him.
Yeah.
Zabka doesn't look horrible for his age.
But it's high highs and low lows. Because Christian Slater, in his prime, way more attractive than Ralph Macchio at his prime. Just going to say that. Objectively true.
Completely different types,
but I'm just saying high highs, low lows. Also, I had a crush on Johnny.
Makes perfect sense.
Not Daniel.
Makes perfect sense.
I sided with Johnny when I watched Karate Kid.
As did most as the years went on.
Yeah, but I feel like I was there before it was cool. Easy-E said Kung Fu is Chinese, Karate is Okinawan, which is part of Japan. Historically, these two nations did not get along, but I suspect that won't come up.
Yeah, it's going to be globalist entertainment. Japan, China, they just get along. Hey, perfect.
We're buddies.
A modern-day allied forces.
DCNC said Johnny Somali to play Karate Kid villain. I wouldn't.
Let's go. Oh my gosh,
I think that's quite an excellent idea.
That is a freaking great idea. Like the villain. Okay, no, actually,
but he's gonna be in jail.
It might be a little bit too much modernity, but the idea that like we saw that scene in the trailer where he's what's his character's name? What's Ben's character's name again?
Oh, it's like Lee or something.
He's like walking down in the bus, and like the gang of kids come up behind him. You know, and they're like, man, they're like making this.
Menacing.
Instead of that, it's just Johnny Somali with a phone being a dick.
Yeah, because there were plenty of jokes in Cobra Kai about Johnny not getting, modern technology, social media, the internet, stuff
I like
that
he finds YouTube and immediately goes down the conspiracy rabbit hole.
Yeah. So, yeah, Johnny Somali being the villain of the next Karate Kid. That's a good idea, if he ever gets out of South Korean jail. Corey Anderson said Legend of the Drunken Master is Chan's best movie.
Okay.
Haven't seen it. I mean, I always am gonna.
I'm
prefer
always gonna,
Rush Hour.
I'm always gonna prefer Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2. That's just.
I need to rewatch those.
They hold up so well.
It's been a while.
I rewatched.
Maybe over Christmas.
I rewatched Rush Hour 2 like last spring, and it holds up so well. Like both of them hold up so well.
Shane H. Wilder said, "No one going to mention Kung Pao Enter the Fist." I haven't seen any of these.
It's gonna be a kung fu. They're talking all kung fu movies now in the chat.
Zach Yandel said, "Brett, remember Jackie's The Foreigner?"
I did not see that. Is that the one that came out just like a couple years ago? I did not see that one.
Corey Anderson said, "Olivia Clare seems like a real sweetheart. Brett is out of his league. Get this young lady another cat ASAP. Does she have an Etsy?"
She does have an Etsy. She does sell stuff. I could.
Well, if she doesn't want the Etsy shared, we won't share it.
I don't know if she's in the chat right now, but she is out of my league. You're right about that. She's fantastic.
V Wit said, "I'm in support of the rabid weasels. I'd watch that."
Okay.
I don't want to watch that. That sounds terrifying. Big Dave said, "Merry Christmas, Crisis Actors. My favorite Christmas song is, of course, Silent Night, followed closely by Little Drummer Boy, Celebrate the King this season." The strong and silent type like Silent Night.
Very
shocking.
Very
Truly.
classic examples, though.
Mm-hmm. Pop Culture Junkie said, "Brett, regarding tonal issues, none. You've both mastered those skills. It's the secret sauce that makes your cast work." Cast is short for podcast, apparently.
I would like to believe that, that there aren't too many examples where like we've got like a funny topic to lead and then we go, or like we end super chats for something funny and then we go into something serious. And we're anyway, so there's this you know what I mean?
But
like,
we do that.
with the lingering smile as you're about to talk about the most horrific thing in the world, and it's weird, but it's part of the job.
Yeah, that happens.
It does
frequently,
bleed,
but we are good at doing it.
and it does bleed a little bit of the hope. Not hope, but it can be a bit depressing from time to time.
Mr. Moose Knuckle said, "Brett, I recommend you watch Danger 5. It's a satirical show about an international spy team set in the 60s, and it's every bit as campy as you would expect and love."
I do love campy. I'm going to watch, hopefully this weekend. I don't have Netflix anymore because I got rid of Netflix, but I've heard great things about Carry On, and I really want to watch it, so I might see if I can.
New?
Yeah, it's a new one.
How about you watch Scream Queens?
Get around to it.
Nah, it's fine. You hate me.
I do not hate you. I do.
Now I'm just getting
it is on Hulu though, so I can watch it at some point.
I really wish we had like a skit channel still, where like I'm just the toxic podcast co-host.
She's just like, oh, so you hate me then?
Oh, you don't want to talk about what would it be? About Britney Spears today? I guess you just hate me.
Thanks.
Whatever.
Yeah, you never listen to anything I say.
The based clone trooper said there was a 40% chance that the trans kid story was going to get.
We did that one, yeah.
You've already read that one. Yeah. Red Snow, be positive, blood sign, and praise be to Space King. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Pat the Plumber said Surge spoke on IRL last night. I'm pretty sure that means we're getting an early spring.
That could mean. I hope so.
I wonder what he said.
I don't want I don't want an extended winter this year.
I thought Surge was taking a vow of silence. Pat the Plumber, did she have her man leave $100 on the end table?
In relation to what story?
I don't know what that means. Colton Coldrick said, what is Mary's favorite video game? I'm not a gamer.
Yeah, but you played video games. Do you have a game that you played more than any other?
I don't know if I really have played any video game like
enough to
even say. I guess like Stray, like I did play Stray, and that was enjoyable, but that's a one-time thing. You don't go back and play it over and over. So yeah, that was okay. Shane H. Wilder said, you know how you get rid of intimacy coordinators? Don't film lewd acts. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to take the role if you aren't comfortable with it. Very true.
I mean, she didn't sound like she was uncomfortable with it.
She was. Turns out the other guy wasn't.
Yeah.
But, you wouldn't end up in these situations, correct, if the scripts were not written pornographically in the first place.
I do laugh because, like, I I don't find any of those scenes to ever really be so important. At least nothing that I've
never
ever
are.
watched felt like it was important enough to need to watch. So
No, it's just
mine's not even on the basis of morality. I just have really bad ADHD, and I just fast forward because I want to get to the next thing that actually matters.
So now you know how I feel about like action scenes.
Yeah, no,
Or
I understand.
Or like explosions.
No, here's the thing. Even action scenes to me can go on too long a lot of times. Like that's like
chase scenes.
Your chase scenes, except
The chase scene in was it Dead Reckoning? The car chase, or no, it was Dial of Destiny.
Okay.
The car chase scene in Dial of Destiny, I fell asleep like 20 times.
There was also the one and I liked Fast X, the 10th Fast and the Furious movie, but there's the one where they're driving they're trying to like get the nuke out of like, where are they, like by the Vatican, and it just goes on forever. The whole scene just goes on forever. And you're right, like the final scene in Dead Reckoning on the train probably carried on too long.
Too, yeah.
But it's like it's a genre that I like, so I give it a little bit more of a pass because it's just more up my alley. But a lot of times, anytime it's like stop for nudity, stop for sex scene, and I'm like, can we get on to the next important part?
The whole time we're watching Dead Reckoning, I'm just like, how is he not taking a nap yet?
Me? Yeah.
Like I simply can't.
Like,
no,
wow.
not you. I mean Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, like so old.
Literally, I was like,
he should be exhausted by
He's
now.
been awake for like 72 hours. Like, what? How is this possible? Short Bus Bully said, I'm with Zoomers on this one. The only thing you have in common with most of your coworkers is work. Why would I want to go talk about work on my free time?
Well, you
don't. You're not
reasons.
supposed to talk about work, just work with the coworkers at post-work drinks. Talk about other stuff, and you don't have to have something in common with someone to have a fruitful conversation. Actually, that makes it more interesting if you don't have as many things in common.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm not going to sleep much between midnight mass and Christmas morning mass, but there are always naps to Mannheim Steamroller music during the day. Okay.
All right.
Christmas Day naps are dangerous. I would just end up waking up at midnight. Just because I'm free said it's now confirmed. Oh, no, I already read that one. Maverick Pilgrim, with all the corporate training people got to take, after work hangouts are HR dangerous.
There's something to be said about that. And in a hyper-politicized climate these days, maybe it is true that you're kind of stepping into a minefield where you let something, you're like, you know what, I really like this tweet that Elon Musk said. Suddenly the guy next to you thinks you're a Nazi and they're telling HR that you're dangerous.
Yeah, but it's more about Me Too stuff, right?
I was trying to be a more nuanced example.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they have drink limits if there's like a company party, right?
I'm just saying, like, in general, going out with somebody that you don't know much about personality-wise, like if you have views that fall outside of the mainstream narrative, you might have a hard time.
Yeah, fair enough. Pat the Plumber said you'll be corporate when Daily Wire buys Timcast.
Does that mean I would be wearing a tie?
You're just going to start showing up to work in a suit
suit
and tie every single day? Maybe a bow tie.
I did order a bespoke suit jacket.
Oh.
Why? Just because I don't own one and I should have one at some point.
Okay.
It's
Brett's
important.
leveling up in the world.
Well, like I would watch movies where it's like kids, the whole family goes to the funeral and the kid's got a suit jacket. And I'm like, I didn't have a suit jacket when I was a kid.
Phil was just telling me the same thing.
It's like
he just got like a bunch of bespoke suits.
Yeah, I got.
It's important.
So at least to have one. Like, it doesn't mean I'm gonna wear it with like a really nice shirt. I'll probably just wear it with like a dress shirt under.
Yeah, do not do the thing where you wear a t-shirt under the blazer.
I will absolutely do that.
Do not.
I will
be
do
one
that.
of those guys.
I will be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy.
I will be that guy.
Why?
I will be that guy.
Why do you insist on being that guy?
I will be that guy.
Like, have you no pride?
Apparently not.
Have you no dignity?
I have no problem with wearing as long as it's a nice t-shirt. It's not like you wear a cheap t-shirt.
No, there's no way that's acceptable.
Okay.
DCNC said Stanley Cup recall. Cup not gonna explode, Mary? Are people's Stanleys exploding?
Apparently, I saw somebody say there's lead in the Stanleys.
I don't care. I already heard about that, but I don't care. Simon Ho said Gen Z can't be in a conversation they can't control.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. They're like,
You mean if they don't have time to type out a response? You know?
I mean, that's, objectively,
Yeah.
I would love that because I always feel like my thoughts come across better when I actually have time to type out my thoughts and share them. But that's not the real world.
Yeah. Maverick Pilgrim said, not gonna lie, I thought Stanley Cup was a hockey reference. No longer. Terrence Rice said, I hang out with people outside of work, but only after vetting first. If I have to walk on eggshells around you at work, we won't be hanging out after.
That's the most logical approach, man. I agree.
But sometimes that's the best way to get someone out of their shell. Then you find out who they really are. Kenny Ramey said, become a truck driver. You won't be around people to have drinks with after work. Also, you can't drink 10 hours before your next shift.
I didn't do that. I did, however, drive for a medical supply company, and I loved that job, and it was almost completely solitary. I spent the whole day driving. I liked it because it was a minimum amount of deliveries, but long distances, meaning like I wasn't delivering to tons of locations in a city where you have to deal with like city traffic and roads. So I would go from, at least in Minnesota, it's a lot of like, you have the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and it's bordered by tons of suburbs. And then outlying smaller cities, smaller towns. And it would be a lot of deliveries to like nursing homes or hospice care facilities on these cities, on these towns on the outskirts of the cities. So it would be like 2 hours or an hour between deliveries, and the rest of it was just driving. And I very much enjoyed that job. But it was probably exasperating the worst aspects of my isolationism.
Sounds like something I would enjoy too.
Yeah. And that was before podcasts, so it was just a lot of music and vibes.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, my coworkers and I used to go out for drinks every Friday night. It was great. It was a combination of Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z blowing off steam.
Wow.
Well, what happened?
Where'd they go?
Yeah, why don't you do that anymore? Mr. Moose Knuckle said, I have seen it way too many times at after-work parties where someone has one too many and make a questionable joke, and next week they're gone. Not many people want to risk that nowadays, IMO.
Would that be you, Mary? Would you be the one who would go
to make
a
a
bit
questionable
too far?
joke? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is the type of workplace where
but I'm saying,
every joke is questionable.
If you were in another environment.
In another workplace?
Would that be you? I never make questionable jokes, so this wouldn't happen to me.
Yeah, you never do that. I've actually never heard you make an offensive joke, ever. Never happened. I don't know how I would fare in a normal workplace. I really don't.
You'll have to, maybe someday that'll be something you experience.
I would wonder if people can read me for my type of views, my worldview, my outlook on the world. If they can read me before I tell them.
Probably not.
No?
Probably not.
Would they assume that
there's probably a lot of inherent bias as to what they're going to think that a younger Gen Z woman is going to believe anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I don't think that would be a good situation for me.
Also, none of this would, like, if I was to go out and make like an offensive joke, I wouldn't be able to blame the alcohol because I don't drink. So
right.
If I say a really offensive joke,
that was all me.
That was all me.
Miss Ace said Sheba. Wait, what is this? Is this a sticker?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Kitty.
Thank you. Omega Red fan sent us a sticker as well. Thank you. 200 Watt
you.
Studio said, Merry Christmas, sweetie. Oh, hi, Mary.
Wait,
You're
so
getting
am I sweetie?
called sweetie.
Thank you. And Merry Christmas to you as well.
Simon Ho said, Gen X have drinks after work to decompress and laugh about the day so we can come to work the next day with a fresh start and not bring yesterday's baggage.
Sounds healthy to me.
But yeah, that's important. Shane H. Wilder said, I feel like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother minus the womanizing. Johnny was the hero of Karate Kid, and Canada is not a real place.
Many people would agree with you.
Johnny absolutely was the hero. Gordon Shumway said Ralph Macchio is 10 years older today than Pat Morita was in The Karate Kid. The man doesn't age.
He really doesn't age at all.
Drewish AF of Christendom said, met my best friends and brother at work getting... What? Getting
I'm guessing that's drunk.
I don't know.
It's listed as face with spiral eyes. So I'm assuming it's...
Who is your brother in quotes?
Is he from another mother?
Pat the Plumber said, random question. Has anyone else seen cars wrapped in Christmas lights?
Yes, I have. I saw that the other day. I saw a Jeep pouring Poor Jeeps.
Is that like legal? Like
Poor Jeeps taken over by just annoying millennial city women.
We don't live in a city.
But there's still plenty of them here. You can tell because they always have all the freaking the ducks on the front.
Super.
It's becoming worse than Subaru.
Well,
and I did see one the other day.
Seems like a hazard to me. Seems like a safety hazard.
Yeah.
It's cute though. 200 Watt Studio said Brett sports jacket with elbow patches, t-shirt, jeans, and dress Nikes.
I'm doing it. If I wore blue jeans, I could do that. But
wait, dress Nikes?
Whatever that is.
I don't know if I want to know. Let me see.
We are almost at that 5th crisis party, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, dress Nikes are not a thing. You should wear actual dress shoes. Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, how have you got this far without a suit? Every man needs at least one suit and a couple of suit jackets. Oh, and a French cuff shirt.
Oh, like the French tuck?
French cuff.
What's the difference?
So that you can
French
put
tuck?
in cufflinks with those shirts.
Okay. I'm not fancy. I've never been fancy. I never will be fancy, very likely. Good thing to have, you know, break in case of emergency, some important event. I have endless
funerals.
I have endless pants. I have endless plain shirts. I just don't have any suit jackets, but I will soon. I mean, I do have, like, I have bad ones, but not ones that fit really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, mainly the issues, like the ones that I have to get them to fit right, like length and shoulder wise, because I have fairly broad shoulders for being as short as I am, is that the arms are always way too long.
Yeah,
so you have to bring it to a tailor.
I have had to get every damn thing I own tailored.
I might need to get like your tailor's number, because I do have like two.
She quit.
Oh
yeah.
I do have
Sorry.
I do have 2 off the rack suit
What if I was
jackets.
just like totally lying to you?
No, because you told me this the other day.
I did.
It's like otherwise you would be lying. But like I do have 2 off the rack suit jackets that fit reasonably well, as far as the fact that my shoulders are mildly too broad for how short I am, but the arms are just too long.
We have a few more here. Yurishima Otaru said our town does a lighted boat show every Christmas.
Well, down in Frederick, they have
That sounds fun.
By the Frederick Library, they have all the floats on the
Oh,
water, and we went and did that over Thanksgiving, and it was fun. It was great.
Pat the plumber said wear shell tacos, not shoes. What? Oh, I totally misread that. It says shell toes, not shoes. I totally read that as tacos.
Yeah, so did I.
Shell taco. Just because I'm free, 5th crisis party.
Thank you so
for
much.
the 5th crisis party. Are we at?
Yep,
5?
it will go.
We have another from Miss Ace. Happy Christmas, y'all. I'm waiting for the next crisis party. 'Twas my birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday and happy Christmas. Are you British? I guess in Canada they say happy Christmas instead of Merry.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. Is that a thing in Canada?
That's it's a line they do. Well, it's a thing in Britain, right? It's a line in Red One where he's like, we work 364 days of the year to make Christmas happen. He goes, 364. He goes, we take Boxing Day off. Okay. All right. I simped so hard for that movie. Everyone should go watch it. Before we go, guys, hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Thank you so much for joining us today. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
There's one more there from Shane H. Wilder.
Let me find it. COVID happened. That ruined vibes because the bars got too annoying with protocols. Brett, they have cheap French cuffs at Walmart. Just find a tailor. The tailoring is the expensive part. Red Snow said, see y'all later, probably Friday.
Hope so.
200 Watt Studio said capri pants for men, no socks, deck shoes, polo shirt, and suit jacket. Brett,
I will never wear capri pants.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, guys.
Not the sockless feet with loafers.
What about no-show socks?
Get some real dress shoes that have shoelaces and wear black dress socks with them.
There you go.
Please.
All right.
Oh, we have another from DCNC. Get a Vera Dark on. Well, we would love to do that.
We would love to do that
in the future.
We love Vera here. All right, guys. Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to this channel. Again, like I said, if you have not done so already, if you would like to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic. On both of those platforms, Crisis Party.
Thank you.
Eating the cats, eat the cat, eat eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat
All right.
the cat.
Remember, guys, this show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on, hold please, you can rate and review on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts there, guys. It helps the show. Thank you so much for that. Also, remember, we are on social media, Twix, at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram, at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Remember, this Friday we will be having an extended holiday Christmas stream. The episode will be 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to have a variety of guests from here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We want you to join us. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.